One NBA player wore shoes that cost $10. Another player wore shoes that cost $8 million. And there's a bunch of NBA stars with shoes of every other price in between that are only going to get more expensive as we move on. The cheapest shoes an NBA player wore turned into a beef with LeBron.
You want to wear them on a Tuesday night versus me? I'm going to bust your ass. Straight up.
The hate started after Stephon Marbury created shoes that basically look like a knockoff, cheaper version of some J's. But after Stephon wore his shoes, even though most fans were literally rushing to buy them, celebrities started hating on the shoes.
I mean, are you familiar with the Starbury sneakers?
Garbage.
And eventually, LeBron made headlines with what he said. He was just asked if he'd endorse Stephon's shoe and said, nah, I don't think so. Me being with Nike, we hold our standards high. And we do a great job of putting out great merch, great shoes, great quality. With all that emphasis, LeBron basically called the shoes ass, and Stephon definitely felt that. He lost all respect for LeBron after he disrespected his brand and said, I'd rather own than be owned. When he retires, he's not going to own anything. I don't think LeBron did his homework. And it didn't end there. Stephon's been criticizing LeBron over anything ever since. I mean, claiming dude only acts a certain way when he's mic'd up. Stephon made headlines for saying LeBron wasn't a real Laker. He even claimed their beef was never gonna end.
Why I say what I want to say about him is because if you have a fight with somebody, you don't decide when we fight again. It is what it is. It's up always.
And keep in mind, all that was over shoes that were only worth $10. But Damian Lillard's shoes weren't only worth 7 times as much. They helped him make NBA history. Because for every point he scored in this game, from floaters and layups to crazy posterizing dunks, Dame even hit not 1, not 5, but 13 three-pointers like this one from deep. He eventually ended the game with a Blazers record, 71 points. 71. And for every single point that he scored, Adidas dropped the price of all of his Dame 8 signature shoes like his Mr. Incredibles, Fruity Rainbows, ones with lightning bolts, even the bubblegum pink he was wearing while he broke the record, all to just $71 all because of what Dame did. But 2 of Victor Wembanyama's shoes were way more expensive. And the first of his shoes came from outer space. Because after LeBron called Wemby an alien,
He's more like an alien.
not only were commercials made about his new nickname,
Wemby and the alien, going to the moon.
Wemby also designed these Nikes to have an extraterrestrial pattern that looks like a COD camo, green paint splatter laces, glow-in-the-dark soles, and wait, what else?
Vic, what you got on the back of this?
Oh yeah, I drew one day.
You drew that?
I mean, I originally drew it with bigger eyes.
Bigger eyes?
Yeah.
Alright, but even though his shoes from outer space cost $130, they're still cheaper than his pair that were inspired by a movie.
Star Wars is my thing for sure. I know everything about
Do you have
Star
a
Wars.
ranking?
After saying that, then winning Rookie of the Year, Wemby was spotted with all-black Nikes that were covered in fur, just like the Star Wars character Chewbacca. The shoes were named the Wookiee of the Years and even got Wemby put on the news because they cost $190, which is still cheaper than Paul George's shoes that came from video games. PlayStation created commercials like that to promote that they were collabing with Paul for a signature shoe. Just like their iconic PS1, these shoes were all gray with PlayStation colors and even had logos to represent buttons on their controllers. The shoes also had the PlayStation logo on one tongue and Paul's PG logo that lights up on the other. But even though the special edition pre-order versions came in a giant suitcase with the shoes and a game system inside, anyone can buy the PG PlayStations for just $300. Now, hold up, John Morant shoes cost even more because they belong in a jewelry store. Covered in thousands of crystals, these Ja2 black labels weren't just created to be shining bright, like he always is.
Skate.
They're rare to honor the year he was born. So once Ja debuted him during a game where he was going off and even trolling people while he scored, all eyes were on his shoes, so stores only had them on display in protective cases because they cost $600 each. But Steph Curry's even more expensive shoes were inspired by his outfit from the biggest fashion event in the world. Here at the Met Gala is where every celebrity pops out to flex their expensive fits. And after Steph stole the show in a custom black Versace suit with gold stitching, Under Armour created an exclusive colorway of his Curry 10s for him that identically matched his fit. Now, Steph eventually wore the shoes during a critical Game 7 where they helped him drop a playoff career high 50 points. And doing that with the entire world watching had everyone wanting a pair so badly they were forced to create them in 2K because the shoes were never released to the public. except during this video.
These right here, you might know what these, so I'll make sure y'all get a pair of these. It's the colorway story, so I went to the Met Gala. So this is the Versace suit that they made with the same logo across the suit jacket, so they put it into the Curry 10 right here.
Did you ever think that you're going back to school shopping with this guy? And no one could get these, so super rare.
That part.
We have some Curry 10 Met Galas right here. These are not released to the public.
Hey, don't be shy.
These are Field. These are champions.
Oh my god, those kids were lucky as hell, man. Steph really gifted them unreleased shoes worth $2,000? But the shoes that Anthony Davis got were something he could eat. Well, kinda. Because after 80's obsession with ruffles got him in chip commercials and had him becoming the first athlete with a chip deal, the company also let him customize a pair of Jordan 1s in the Ruffles red, white, and blue color scheme, their logo on the side, even some texture just like their chips. Then when the exclusive shoes dropped for fans to get, they came in a giant collector's Ruffles bag that had other many different flavored bags with different laces inside. And they better, because the entire shoe package cost over $5,000. But hold on. LeBron's shoes weren't just 4 times that much. They came from a cartoon.
Commercial.
Stewie Griffin is definitely one of Family Guy's funniest characters. And just like the fit that he always wore, a yellow shirt, red overalls, and light blue shoes, Nike created LeBron's 6s that weren't just white like Stewie. They basically put his whole outfit onto them. And they got black outlines to make the shoes look cartoonish. Now, alright, of course LeBron got a pair of his own shoes that he walked into a game with and even practiced in, which kinda became a big deal because they're rare and were never sold in stores. The only other Hoopers with them are this random who's scared to even take them out the box. And the shoe god, PJ Tucker, posted them under his tree like a Christmas present, then actually had the balls to wear them in a game.
Yeah, that was a big deal because that shoe took so long to find. And even when I found it, the way the deal went down to be able to get them was super extra and crazy. And the measures I went through to get those was unreal, but it was worth it because that shoe was untouchable.
I mean, it's just crazy that he went through hell and back for shoes that cost $20,000. But I never ever thought I'd see an NBA legend shoes cost double that. Just cause he shit his pants? It was game 1 of the 2008 NBA Finals. And even though the game was already crazy, eventually Paul Pierce went down with an injury. The situation was so bad that Pierce couldn't even get up on his own. So eventually when he was wheelchaired into the locker room, the broadcast even popped up graphics about how important Pierce was, cause they feared what he was dealing with was devastating. Until dude not only came walking out ready to play again and got a standing ovation, Pierce easily finished the game, helping lead his squad to a win, all while wearing his green and white Nikes. Now, that's only part of the reason that these ugly-ass shoes with a Velcro strap became so expensive. Fans made the entire game go viral because Pierce didn't actually get injured. Everybody noticed he had a shit stain by his cheeks.
Ah, sick.
That had everyone clowning him for faking an injury because he shit himself, man. Now, Pierce denied it at first by tweeting, "Sorry to burst y'all haters' bubble, but the only shitting I did was on the Lakers." Then, he even lied about it to current Celtics players.
I want to know what happened when it was the playoffs when you had to get in the wheelchair.
I sprained my MCL.
It was your MCL?
It was my MCL. Yeah, I don't believe all them rumors. I had to go to the bathroom.
What rumors?
You was there. What happened there?
I don't know. I'm asking what rumors you talking about.
Everybody talking about I had to take a shit. Get the fuck out of here.
You sprained your MCL?
Yeah, I turned my MCL, dog. You act like you can't play on the MCL? You ain't never did that?
Oh, Lord, I'm asking you what were you talking about?
I told it. I just everybody know this, but you know, now that we got social media and all everybody make their own narrative. So I sprained my MCL. What you think I'm holding my knee for? What I'm holding my knee for? Come on, dog. You gonna make me probably put hands up in a minute, dog.
But eventually, he told the truth.
I just had to go to a bathroom.
And that made his game, plus the shoes he wore, become so iconic that when his poop shoes went up for auction, they sold for $40,000. But Steph Curry got even more expensive shoes to honor people who were killed.
Right now, at least 8 people are dead after 3 shootings at spas in the Atlanta area. Authorities were first called out to Young's Asian massage parlor this afternoon, where 5 people were found shot. 2 were dead on the scene and 2 others died at the hospital.
Once Steph heard the news that multiple Asian families were affected by a deadly hate crime, Steph teamed up with a foundation named after Bruce Lee. Because this was a man who's been known to speak up as a social rights activist and spread positivity in his Asian community. The foundation and Steph got together to customize a pair of yellow and black Curry 8s, which had hand paintings of Bruce and his family. They even included one of Bruce's famous quotes, "Under the heavens, there is but one family." So once Steph wore the shoes during a game and went off in them, he talked about why exactly he created them.
I just want to ask you about your shoes and the message behind those tonight and why it's so important what you're doing with the shoes.
It's a significant opportunity to raise some money. We're going to auction them off. And obviously what Bruce Lee stood for in terms of unifying people, speaking on the collective harmony of everybody from different backgrounds, different races, but especially, his Asian heritage. He has a lot of quotes and just narratives and themes that he spoke on consistently that still ring true today. And I know his foundation is doing a lot to live that out and to impact people's lives and to continue to spark change. Obviously, stopping Asian hate across the country is huge and across this world, but the shoes are a very small way to hopefully raise money for that work and that cause and raise awareness.
And after eventually sending these shoes to auction where they sold for over $62,000, Steph donated every cent to the families affected by the shootings. Man, you gotta respect Steph for that. But lightening the mood a bit, some of LeBron's more expensive shoes came from 4 iconic moments of his career. First came from LeBron's playoff debut, because what he was wearing in that game while scoring plenty of buckets, hitting crazy and ones, grabbing damn near all the rebounds, and even making pass after pass like these that led his squad to a win. A rising star having a triple-double in their debut was basically unheard of, so the shoes that he wore that game eventually went to auction. These Nike Zoom LeBrons were all white with his name and logo in Cavs blue. Then they even got a gold strap that he wrote R.I.P. Brenda on, a shout out to his godmother who passed away right before the game. And since LeBron also autographed them, the shoes eventually sold for almost $100,000. Now, hold up, LeBron did have another pair of shoes worth this much. Some crocodile skin, gold-plated, diamond-infested LeBron 15s worth $100K. But we talked about these shoes a million times in videos already like this one, so I ain't talking about them again, right? Besides, a more expensive pair of LeBron shoes were a gift from Kobe Bryant.
2001, I believe I was playing in New Jersey, and the All-Star game, if I'm not mistaken, and y'all can correct me, was in Philly, right? Yeah, that Saturday, me and Maverick drove to the Intercontinental downtown Philadelphia, and he gave me a pair of his shoes, which I ended up wearing that following night. It was the red, white, and blue Kobe's. I was a 15 and he was a 14 and I wore them anyways. And I sat and just talked to him for a little bit. He gave me the shoes, I rocked them in the game. And it was the same night that we played Oak Hill against Melo.
And trust me, the Capaholic was not lying for once. Footage showed LeBron going off in high school while wearing his kicks. The Adidas Kobe 2s, red, white, and blues, and even though they had a flag on them, to me they look like some damn bowling shoes. Eventually they still went to auction and sold for $156,000. But some even more expensive shoes helped LeBron win one of his championships. It was high school again, this time during his freshman year state championship. And of course he went off all night scoring over a dub to lead his team to a dub, but fast forward a couple decades, LeBron quoted clips of his highlights from the game saying "Young King." So the Jumpman Swift 6s that were the shoes he wore during that game, and were shoes that even Michael Jordan himself filmed famous commercials in, eventually went to auction and sold for $200,000. But even those weren't the most expensive shoes that LeBron ever wore, and neither were what he got after breaking the scoring record, because these custom snakeskin Goldilocks that he got with his point total on the bottom were somehow only worth $7,500. And even though what he came walking into another game wearing was more expensive, because dude had on some every color of the rainbow Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones, those only cost 10 to 15K, so LeBron wore something way more special during his second game in the NBA. He matched up against the Suns where all game long, he was dominating as if he'd been in the league for years. And since he finished his second ever game, just 2 assists short of a triple-double, it not only became one of the most iconic moments of his rookie year, he did all that while wearing his first signature shoe, the white, red, and black Nike Air Zoom Generations. This shoe became known as one of the most important artifacts of 21st century sports ever to be placed on an auction block, and sold for $220,000. But alright, enough LeBron. I'm sounding like a bronze sexual at this point, which I kinda am. Regardless, James Harden spent even more just because he wanted to match his shoes with a supercar. Something that fast sparked one of Adidas' craziest collabs. They made these Harden Volume 9s that have red soles, carbon fiber on the back, and completely covered them in chrome.
Why is everything chrome?
Then once Harden did plenty of photo shoots for the shoes, signed a pair for a fan, and even filmed commercials in them, eventually he wanted the entire world to see his shoes. Harden drove around in his supercar, went viral for pulling up to a game in it, then was seen matching his feet with the Rari he drove on the street that had a red interior and custom V9 license plate for the shoes. Now, alright, since Raris like this can easily go over 200 miles an hour and look insane, I wasn't even mad that Harden really hooped in shoes that were designed to look just like his supercar, even though the shoes and car combined cost $300,000. But Kobe Bryant's shoes became even more expensive because he wore them during a game that ruined his career. He was matched up with the Warriors, and even though Kobe was hitting mid-range shots, even humiliating Klay, on this play, Kobe went down and made the entire stadium go silent. Now, thankfully he was able to play through the pain and kept going off, like hitting this shot from deep, which gave him his 32nd point, until it happened again. This time Kobe went down grabbing his Achilles, and even he knew something devastating happened. So after hitting both free throws while barely being able to walk, Kobe took himself out the game, and it turned out that he suffered one of the worst injuries that any athlete can go through, a completely torn Achilles tendon, and was about to be sidelined for months. Either way, fans admired him for putting his body on the line, saying things like, "There's no moment in Kobe's career more Mamba mentality than the Achilles game. It's a testament to his commitment to excellence and competitive spirit." Now, praise like that is why the game not only became an iconic moment in Kobe's legacy, it's also why Kobe's shoes from that game became just as popular. He had on Kobe 8 Elites in the Lakers home colorway, which of course had his logos on the back and front. Then they also got carbon fiber on the heel with his handwriting in gold. So obviously after Kobe created legendary moments in those shoes, his Achilles Game 8s recently went up for auction where bids immediately hit over $500,000 and eventually sold for $660,000. But another NBA legend shoes didn't just cost double. They helped change people's lives forever. That's all thanks to Magic Johnson, because since he's part owner of the Washington Commanders, and the NFL always does their My Cause, My Cleats campaign, which lets players customize cleats to auction them off for charity, this past season they allowed coaches and owners to also create shoes for a good cause. Magic customized these high-top Air Force Ones to have a drawing of two hands held together and inspirational writing that said "Dream Big." Then they got the logo and color scheme to represent the cause that he wanted to help, scholarships for children of incarcerated parents.
This year, they awarded scholarships to 24 students who have had a parent in prison or jail, their biggest class to date. The founder tells me that she hopes to keep expanding to help even more young people.
And since that cause means a lot to Magic, he's donating all the money to them from auctioning the shoes, which are expected to go for $1 million. Now, $1 million is still not the most expensive shoes that were worn by an NBA legend. But, of course, the most expensive shoes weren't his, and were not only worn by the GOAT, they set an unbreakable NBA record. Because after Michael Jordan won not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but 6 championships and solidified himself as the best player ever, he did it in 6 pairs of shoes that not only became some of the most expensive shoes ever, they have everyone, including me, rocking them to this day. Ooh! The first of the 6 happened in 1991 because Jordan made plays like this to win his first championship, all while wearing his high-top black and red Jordan 6s. In 1992, he hit 2 clutch free throws to help the Bulls go back-to-back, and that time he wore a similar-looking pair with some purple and the Jumpman logo, known as the Jordan 7s. The next year, Jordan went off scoring 33 and won the finals again, while he had on black, white, and red Jordan 8s with some blue on the bottom, and even had a strap, plus a furry tongue. But we're only halfway through all the expensive shoes that he wore, because after Jordan took 3 years away from basketball, he returned right back to the finals in 1996, where he not only hit huge threes like this, which helped him win another championship, even his teammates had on the Jordan 11s that originally came in the Bulls colorway, and ever since have been remade into plenty of crazy versions. But after that, Jordan was on a mission. The next season he made it back to the finals and wore his new Jordan 12s with an Oreo colorway, which even had Jumpman written on the side. And in that game, Mans went crazy dropping 39 points to secure his 5th championship, so things really didn't seem like they could get much better from there, until his squad made it back to the finals in '98 for Jordan's last season ever with them. In the final game, he debuted his black and red Jordan 14s with a yellow Jumpman logo and his number stitched into the back that became famously known as the Last Shots, cause well, not only did he create non-stop highlights in them, he hit this iconic game winner to win the championship, which became the last shot of Jordan's career with the Bulls. So after that, and winning his record-breaking 6th Finals MVP award, cementing himself as the GOAT, The shoes he wore during every championship clinching game were signed by him to eventually get bundled together and auctioned all off at once. The sale was about to be such a big deal that it made the news and showed all the shoes in protective cases. I mean, people weren't even allowed to touch them without gloves on, because all 6 pairs were about to set a new record for game-worn shoes, when they eventually sold for over $8 million. $8 mil for some damn shoes? Pfft, that's nothing compared to the houses that NBA players own that have water parks, private islands, or cribs they can land helicopters at in this video.